それではキャリー殿、案内をよろしくお願いいたします。
はーい、ようこそキャリーファクトリーツアーへ。まずは私のメイクルームを紹介するね。ようこそみんなで作る夢のコースター。私の映画とちょっぴり
危ない。うわ
よろしくね。みんな大丈夫？危なかったね。
2016 just hit. Universal Cool Japan has begun, and there's a plethora of brand new collaborative experiences at Universal Japan, such as Attack on Titan, Evangelion, Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, and Kyary Pamyu Pamyu XR, Universal's first VR coaster. Kyary found her footing in 2011, releasing her debut album Moshi Moshi Harajuku, which quickly rose to number 2 overall sales on iTunes Japan, number 4 on iTunes Finland Electronica, and number 12 on iTunes USA Electronica. Needless to say, with the rising popularity of Bum Bum Bum's music video, she became a hit. Kyary has an abstract visual style that is captivating and mysterious. Made to be whimsical and fun, her songs never fail to be a consistent source of cheer, which is mostly due to its unpredictability, accompanied by Yasutaka Nagata's songwriting, composition, as well as Kyary's exceptional performance. Her world is built upon Harajuku decor fashion, of which is primarily associated with a plethora of accessories and bright colors. Variations do exist, but the forefront of decor is a mixture of color and cuteness. She's a phenomenon, culturally and globally. This phenomenon has snuck herself into one of the most unique and mysterious coasters ever produced, being Kyary Pamyu Pamyu XR, which opened to the public on January 15th, 2016. Shortly after its opening, she uploaded a video announcing her 5-point plan for her 5th anniversary, in which she discussed future events and collaborations including the ride. It wasn't just any coaster, it was a temporary reskin of Space Fantasy, an indoor roller coaster done by Mack Rides that opened in 2010, which is utilized for collaborative events. However, instead of being a regular indoor coaster, VR was added as a twist, which Universal had never done before. In order to understand what made this ride so elusive, let's take a short dive into the history of VR coasters. The Galaxy Express was a coaster at Space Center, a theme park in Bremen, Germany, that operated from December 19, 2003 to September 26, 2004. VR wasn't exactly well-known or popular. Its inventors, Mack Rides, utilized an indoor mini theater instead of a bulky case that covers your head as the ride starts. Footage of this ride was posted on Space Center's Facebook in 2021, which is what you've been seeing in the background. In the time period between 2003 and 2016, we didn't see a lot of VR coasters surface. They may have been expensive to make without the technology we have now, and there's no real audience for this ride system yet. The gap of VR-related rides from 2003 to 2016 has written out an essay on VR's unpopularity and lack of promise. Implementing VR into a major theme park was, to say the least, risky. Until January 15th, it hadn't been achieved on this major scale. It was a new frontier for immersion and creativity, with Kyary's world being adapted into a VR ride. The only limiting factor was early VR software leading to not so high quality models. But where it lacks in what we know now as the standard, has its own set of charm. Outside of VR, the redone queue line utilized decorations in an abstract manner. You'll find yarn balls, colorful polka dots, balloons, measuring tape, and mannequins. Ride development is a team activity. The designers did an equally good job as the VR production staff. XR rides are total conversions of Space Fantasy, minus the track. Queue lines are overhaul of new theming and have new pre-shows done for them. Similar reworks are done for the exterior. The most important addition is the VR headset. Not a cover like Galaxy Express, an actual headset. XR rides use round vehicles that fit 2 passengers. Staff lends guests a VR headset once boarded, which they put on similar to VR headsets nowadays. Returning to January 15th, 2016, an article was released on Gigazine interviewing the KPP-ARCHIVES production staff. It's a rough translation, therefore there are grammatical errors that I will paraphrase. Our interviewer for this article speaks to 3 staff members, Masataka Usui, Jun Tayuki, and Yoshimasa Takahashi. In the first few seconds of their meeting, the interviewer discusses the challenges of incorporating VR and asks about their first reactions to the project, of which Tayuki-san answers with his surprise yet interest towards the project when given the script. They were then asked about the ride's design concept. Taiyuki-san responds one more. The design concept is a factory for Kyary, including a costume and makeup room, plus a studio. It's a factory only for Kyary to make herself cute, and there's another character called the Factory Manager. With Kyary's visual style, this could have been accomplished in a plethora of ways. When we compare her music videos to ride photos and videos, personally, I think they nailed their personality as an artist. Everything from the Factory Manager and the monster causing mayhem both fit very well with their world. Their overabundance on anything as accessories such as measuring tapes and even the track itself, not to mention how she gets around her factory and can just go anywhere with some kind of magic. It matches her whimsy and cheery style while accounting for the fact it's an indoor coaster. One of Universal's requests for the ride was thrill. It was one of production's major hurdles. When asked on how they overcame their struggles, Taiyuki-san and Takahashi-san both come on air. Various things became big hurdles. The biggest one was the ride's final scene. It's a climactic scene. Having a customer feel the most thrill was trial and error. This is followed by Takashi-san, who adds on that the final scene has riders falling down, but the real ride falls just a little. However, when you show that VR scenes fall straight down, it feels as if the riders just keep falling by slightly dropping as a trigger. Taiyuki-san brings the interview to a close, discussing the future of VR as a medium, mentioning that in VR, you won't be able to edit things out. Guests will be able to see everything, so it's important to create a focal point in VR scenes. He said that VR is an unexplored field with interesting discoveries, and that it was fun to have done VR on this scale for the first time. With the team's best efforts, the ride was a success, having double the wait time compared to their other crossovers, and Arima Japan summarizes an article by Patrick St. Michael from the Japan Times on Kyary's ride in which he confers to this. Because of future XR collaborations, such as Demon Slayer, Lupin III, and Final Fantasy, further evidence is added to the popularity and overall success of KPP-XR and the ride system, VR. When an experience goes defunct, it is typically lost forever. Some of Universal's many defunct experiences have been lucky to receive preservation, such as trinkets from Jaws being hidden in Diagon Alley. Although Jaws is still at USJ, so it's not entirely gone, hard work has gone into making these experiences that have proved successful. These are experiences worth preserving. It's why Jaws is still in Universal's hearts today after 50 years. It's why Galaxy Express's footage has been archived by Space Center. And it's why KPP-XR needs to be archived. With XR system still in place and its pivotal role in the VR ride boom, I'd argue this ride has a place in theme park history. In addition to that, I'd also argue it's important to Kyary's history. Lots of milestones were reached that year, such as KPP Best, 5-Year Monster World Tour, Artwork Exhibition, and KPP-XR. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience with passion and effort behind it. For being an early attraction based off a celebrity, furthermore being a game changer in the industry, it deserves much more merit than it receives. Now with all that said, I hope that I've convinced you that this specific piece of media is worth preserving. The internet is an environment which is slowly becoming inhabited with preserved media. Working together, we can uncover more information on this ride from either Universal themselves or on a long-forgotten forum page, including completed ride footage. If you, the viewer, have any additional information on this ride, I encourage you to write an email to kpparchives@gmail.com so that we can gather as much as we can about this lost masterpiece. Keep an eye on the archive, and I'll catch you on the flip side.